At the time of the plagues, the Israelites, who were God's chosen people, were living as enslaved peoples in Egypt. They were undergoing a great deal of suffering and were crying out to God to save them from their circumstances. God heard their cries and appointed a man named Moses to lead them out of Egypt. Moses began by asking the Pharaoh to release the Israelites, but he refused. It was in response to the Pharaoh's refusal that God sent the 10 plagues. The plagues were intended to force Pharaoh's hand and make him release the Israelites from Egypt. The first plague to hit Egypt was the water of the Nile turning to blood. The Nile River was a life source for Egypt, and so this plague caused absolute disaster across the land. God used Moses and Aaron to bring about this plague. He sent them to the brink of the river Nile, where Aaron raised his staff and struck the water, which then turned it into blood. This plague caused all of the fish in the river to die and a stream of blood to flow throughout Egypt. This plague lasted for 1 whole week. The next plague involved Egypt becoming overrun by frog. The Bible states that they were frogs everywhere, covering every piece of land in sight. Everywhere they went, the Egyptians would be met with a horde of frogs. As Aaron struck the dust with his staff, a stream of bugs, believed to be either lice or gnats, swarmed across Egypt. The people of Egypt were tormented with these bugs, completely unable to escape them, no matter where they went. The next plague continues the theme of swarming insects. After the Pharaoh refused again to let God's people go free, God sent a plague of flies throughout Egypt. The whole of Egypt was overrun by these pesky winged insects except for the land of Goshen, as this is where the Israelites lived. The plague of livestock, also known as the plague of pestilence, killed all of the domestic animals in Egypt. In biblical times, people's livelihoods would have depended on their animals, and so this plague would have been particularly devastating.